Okay, so we just got our second strike, and it's obviously a hater. Pull it back. Okay, but then you can't see the
Not
part.
that much, not that much.
So anyways, it says we shot the same thing twice. They're the same length. One with my iPhone 11, one with the iPhone 12. And somehow the one we shot with the iPhone 11 is reported and banned, but the one with the 12 is okay. So obviously they're trying to just give us strikes for no reason here so that they can take us off the air. And I knew that would happen. We're saying stuff that's too controversial. We've watched this 3 times. Mario's done a great job, but we've fucked up the sound or something one time or another. So we were trying to figure out what the hell I said to get me banned on day 13. Why is this the banned video? But then we just had one of our videos banned yesterday, and then the same one we shot. Okay, so you can see 2 videos. One is day 15. Anyways, one of them, they're the same exact video, just there's no reason for us to be banned from one. Is the AI reading one camera and different words from another? No, this is totally, they want to take away all my kids' films and shit like that. We're going to watch the first one that was banned. The second one that was banned, I mean, this is just getting ridiculous. We're just going to have to go straight to Rumble and forget YouTube. And that's what we're doing the same thing with the dollar. We're saying, fuck you to the Federal Reserve note, and we're only taking cryptos. So let's go ahead and watch the first banned video. Now that we have the second banned one, it's not as exciting, but check it out. We've seen it 3 times. So we've watched. Let me give you a recap. Joe Rogan gives money to help someone, $10,000. He comes to our church. We say the flu was replaced with COVID, and there's a shit ton of fear around it to get people to wear the mask and get the vaccines. What else did we say?
Separating people.
Oh, yeah, we were trying to unite people, and the government's trying to separate people, divide people between the vaccinated and the unvaccinated. Like the Jews and the clean people.
Don't spoil it all.
All right, I don't want to spoil it all. Let's watch the banned video and see what it's about. Okay, I have to airdrop it from here.
Okay.
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 Take 3.
I'm back. Take 2. So, Mario's across the street. He's having dinner. I just had some inspiration that I wanted to follow up with. I'm filming this 15 minutes after I just filmed the first one, or the last one. 13, 12, so this will be 13. And the reason is because we're doing it on the creator's calendar by the Jewish days. So the day starts at sundown. So I've been doing most of them right after sundown, the beginning of the day, and we try and catch up and get it out by the next day. Mario's doing a great job. He didn't know what he was doing.
Thanks, Mario.
He is rocking them out. So
Dreaming with this shit.
the reason I felt inspired, I don't want to go back to reading the Bible and being too boring, but in Revelation 6, talks about the rider going out on the white horse. And he's got a bow and a corona to go conquer the world. And the white horse, white is supposed to signify Jesus, but it's not Jesus because he's part of the seals, and Jesus has to open the seals. So he's definitely like a false Jesus wearing white. And what did Jesus do in his ministry? Healing, making people better. And what is this white-coated fake healer going around to conquer the world with their corona and their face masks? It's the subjugation of the humanity of the people of the world. And that's really what this is. So as a false healer, they're going out to conquer the world. People have, this guy Jerry on YouTube says, oh no, it's the seal, George Bush is the white rider on the white horse, and it's the towers coming down. That was the first seal being opened. The second seal is the war with Iran.
Hey, devil.
There's a bunch of gay people who've said,
he's out who've
said
campaigning for Liz Cheney, she's a devil.
And they're using the rainbow. The first time you mention something in the Bible, it's so significant. And it's true, that part is true, that you're supposed to refer back to that and see what the meaning is. So the meaning is the rainbow, and a toxon is a common piece of cloth, like a bow in your hair. So with this common cloth and the rainbow, they're conquering the world with their sin and their homosexuality.
Oh,
God damn it.
Homosexuality.
It doesn't make sense.
That's why we got
banned.
banned.
About it, it'd be guys like Jesus in their white coats going out to heal, and yet they're bringing the corona in a mask, and it's fake. It's fake healing because it's a fake disease. They relabeled the flu as the corona.
Oh, there's another one.
Shit out of people.
Oh, relabel the flu as the corona. Yep.
It's that simple.
Ban them. They're telling the truth.
Ban them again.
Every doctor knows that doctors are drug dealers, okay? And I
Doctors
know
are drug dealers.
A drug dealer.
Ban that. Ban it. It's the truth.
Oh, it's an herb dealer.
Just call pharmacies drugstores. Come on.
I know what it
They are
means.
drugstores.
I always think marijuana is the solution for everything. People
That's
accuse me of that, and it's partially true.
Marijuana
Housing.
is the solution.
Marijuana. We can make housing out of marijuana. Gasoline crisis. Fuel. We can make fuel out of marijuana. Cars having to be sourced and environmentally dangerous. We can grow.
No, I know about the fuel. The other one, the car one, I want to see.
Car out of marijuana in 1937. It was in Scientific America. Look it up.
Amongst the thousands of products made from hemp, one of the most extraordinary is Henry Ford's plastic car. Built in 1941, it contained cellulose fibers derived from hemp, sisal, and wheat straw. The plastic was lighter than steel, yet could withstand 10 times the impact without denting.
See, I'm like an evangelist for him. The food crisis. We can grow cheap, high-protein food with the most digestible protein seed in the world with hemp. Any problem, I always think marijuana is the solution. Oh, cotton's an environmental problem because of all the pesticides and herbicides to keep the bugs off the cotton plant. Bam! Hemp fibers last longer, are stronger, and don't need herbicides and pesticides because hemp has no natural enemies
In the insect world.
Insect world.
I didn't even know I was going to say that. I was going to say I sound like Jack Hare.
I can say is true, but people go, oh, he's just saying that because that's his point of view. But I believe I'm right. So that's why I'm here. And before I was afraid to come out, but I felt like, oh, if the time is right, then God will provide. And there should be no fear, because fear is the opposite of love. And there's no fear when God's there. He'll protect me. He always has. He always will. He guided me. Even when I got in trouble 10, 15 years ago. With Temple
Taking another bong hit, dude.
And I lost the first 2 temples. I'm sure it happened for a reason. Whatever happens, happens for a reason. So I don't trip out on things like I used to. Remember when I said...
That is some good hemp.
That's some good
One
hemp.
of the things that made me kind of curious about Christianity and want to be there was I saw a couple whose child was murdered. And the parents were on there saying, we'll see our child again. We pray for the murderer.
Oh shit, that
that
sounds like
Christ
that might be
and comes
the
to the
reason.
Lord. And they
Yeah,
were
I
just like
don't know.
forgiving.
Now that they banned one video and the other one not,
And loving.
It's random.
and now it's just
And
like
I'm
fucking
not that
bullshit.
way. And I believe in Jesus, and I'm trying to be more that way. I'm really trying to be more that way. As I talked about
New
in the last
subscriber.
episode about Trevor, it was a big deal to me, and I felt hurt.
Oh, we got a new
Because
subscriber.
Yeah.
I
Stick built.
expected one thing, and then something else.
Shout out to Stick Built.
Oh,
And I know some of you are going through that right now.
He calls his tabernacle
You're not allowed to go
a
to church.
tabernacle.
We weren't allowed to
Tabernacle.
do this. We couldn't see our dying
Oh, you
relatives.
know who he is?
Yeah, I know. I've been to his house before.
I didn't go through any of that because I was already an outlaw for so many years, being in the marijuana business, that, and I didn't stop being in the marijuana. I never did it illegally. Well, I guess I did only to my friends. So I sold weed to my high school friends. And I write about that in my book.
I guess I only did it with my friends.
Dude, you did it with your friends too.
But
Everybody
I'm
does
not
it with their
making
friends,
any
wait.
money.
I only sell it to my friends.
But
It's
I write about how my friends
Steve?
supported
It's
me.
Steve?
I was selling
Oh
weed
shit, big old
to
shit.
only my high school buddies.
Got
And
my
I'd
son.
make like $10 a night, $15 a night, and I'd get some free pot. They'd smoke me out. And so it was worth it to me.
Oh my God.
But I was always afraid
Got
of getting in
so
trouble,
knowledge.
so I never did it illegally. The only reason I opened Temple 420
I love how
as a
all
medical
weed dealers
marijuana
say, "I
club
never
was
did
because
it
medical
illegally."
marijuana was legal. And the reason I did it as a church was because the government or the Supreme Court had just said, that a religious institution could distribute a
Gonzalez.
Scheduled 1
V.
hallucinogen, which marijuana is
UDV.
scheduled as a church sacrament. And I thought, wow, what bigger sacrifice is there to do than burn your marijuana? So
And $60
not
an
only
eight.
is it
Hello.
expensive, but it's also a sweet-smelling herb to give to God. So it was similar to what I had learned from the Supai on the reservation when we would smudge with herbs and plants. And yet it was my culture. My religion was
So Wanda Jata means drip, and then Baba means that it's starting to gush out more. That's what the warrior saw, and then he made this healing song to heal and to cure and to praise people. That's what
you're
I
watching, Roland.
the Creator was
Hope you're watching,
crucified.
Roland.
This song came to our people
the identity.
6,000 years
That's
ago.
why that is fungible in some way. If you can change your identity, like there's black people who identify more with white culture, there's white people who identify more with black culture. I have a lot of affinity with Mexican culture. I like Mexican food, I speak Spanish, I like Mexican people, I've spent a lot of my
Viva
adult life in
Mexico,
Mexico.
cabrones!
My kids are Americans. I have my green card for Mexico. So when you
I
have
want my green card for a soup pie.
Fucking gringo's got a green card.
How
does that work?
Their culture too. So,
I got a green thumb for
and
soup
that's
pie.
probably what it was back in the ancient days. The different tribes. Each tribe probably had a specific characteristic. Each country had a characteristic.
The soup pies were the
amazing
guardians.
things about America.
The
We have
warriors in the Grand
characteristic of
Canyon. They
freedom,
protected the western
personal
wing of
choice,
the
and
Hopi.
independence.
Soup by
And so
warrior,
when our
soup by
people
warrior.
came here, they learned that from the Native Americans. There were some tribes in the Northeast. I don't know them all. Oneida, Huron, Onondaga, Mohawk, Seneca.
Oh, you talked about that in the last video.
Yeah.
There's probably one more I'll forget.
Because I knew this was black,
five
so I
civilized
kinda wanted
tribes
to
or six,
make up
but
for
they
some stuff.
created a union. They were warring with each other and killing each other. The great peacemaker came and brought peace among the people. I learned this story years ago.
There's a childhood
The
song.
time to tell stories like this
After
is
school
coming
song.
soon. It's usually after the solstice. When is that?
Equinox.
Like in 2 days? The equinox, I mean. So when we get into the winter, or in the winter months, because you've already got to prepare for
So
this
going into
time
the
and get
fall.
your food dried. And I'm talking about in Supai or native culture. You get your food dried.
Ancient Jewish
your wood
culture, too.
stacked, all the things you need prepped for winter, and then when winter time comes, that's story time. So maybe after the first snow hits the ground. I think that's the rule for telling. Stories. You don't tell stories until the first snow comes. So
Otherwise, you're lazy.
anyway, the United States Constitution was based on this union. That's why we say in order to form a more perfect union,
That's the
we
song.
put it into
In
paper
order to
rather
form
than an
a
oral
perfect
tradition.
union. Something like that. There's like a kid's song.
Codified
Song.
it.
Exactly.
Yes. So in America, one of the things we have is freedom of choice. In the
Now
different
people get to
states,
see what a
there's
great
slightly
job you
different
do. How
cultures.
boring I am
Each
on the
state
rock
is known
cuts.
for different things. Each country is known for different things. Each family is known for different things.
Hey, it's time for another podcast.
And that's a spirit. That's what your
Hey, where's your
spirit
American Giant,
Oh
dude?
shit, I haven't been on.
And wow, I'll send some heavy shit. You can actually talk to God yourself and hear from God, and that's what's so amazing.
I'm about to hear
So,
from God.
in my heart,
What are you talking about, bro? I've had it on the whole time, missy.
coronavirus is the first seal, and I've been not afraid whatsoever. I've traveled around the country, and God blessed me with this building and enough money to buy this building, and now I'm selling it. And I know there'll be repercussions for me being on YouTube. I may just get kicked off and lose all my.
Oh shit, you
videos.
predicted it,
Videos
motherfucker.
I know.
Here
I
for
did
12
predict
or
it
13
days
years.
before, and this was in the
There'll be
one.
repercussions.
You predicted it.
Maybe that's why they
And I'm not
banned me,
afraid
because
of
I
that.
predicted
I'm a
it.
little bit bummed if that happens, for sure. But, I've been going for 12 minutes already.
Yeah, I don't want to lose my kids.
Anyway, I want to
We
talk
gotta
about
keep
this
downloading those.
second horse. the red horse. Okay, when he broke a second seal, I heard a second living being say, "Go forward," and out went a red one. And on its rider was given the power to take peace away from the earth and make people slaughter each other. He was given a great sword. Now a sword can be a weapon, or it can also be from your tongue, words.
Yeah, let's thank Mr. Kessler.
And the
for this
rider was
indoor
given,
hand.
and I think a
Thanks,
red
Mr.
one
Kessler.
is
Thank you,
this
Mr.
communism.
Kessler.
That's some good him.
Communism, specifically China, Russia. I think Russia, being a Christian country, is a little bit better now that they're no longer a communist country. They really seem to have allowed the church back and are bringing back families. And
Oh, we're at the Russian part
seem to
already.
be
Goddamn.
better as a country since they've gotten rid of the communism. But
Comunismo.
the Chinese are the ones we associate with red the most. I mean, also the Republicans. The debt, the big red one.
Oh, shit, my knee just popped.
Could it be the debt crisis coming? We can't pay the bills. And that's what took peace from the earth. Hey, Mario, cut out.
Dude, I'm not gonna be able to cut off all the
I
costs.
know, it's all good.
And well, I think that's coming right now, and
Where did you
I really
I did a while ago.
Okay, good.
Really bad.
and pray that people we're really being.
Well, I'm
divided
hoping and
in
praying. I
something,
see why
especially
YouTube
in this
banned that
country. I'm sure
immediately.
it's happening all over
No
the
hoping
world.
and praying in America.
The vaccinated and the unvaccinated.
There's the other one.
Oh, dividing the people.
And if you're not vaccinated,
It's true though. YouTube's dividing the
if
people.
you're not protected from the virus, so the protected
The vaccinated,
need to be protected from the unprotected.
the unvaccinated.
Because they're not really protected from the virus,
The
even with
vaccinated.
protection.
We could throw
So
in some
the
puppets.
unprotected need to get the protection, so that they'll no longer be a threat
We could do this.
to the protected.
What?
One of the protected.
Okay, so
One of the
With
protected.
with the unprotected.
pushing the
Yeah,
drugs on
to
people,
Americans.
making a lot of money. They don't care if they make
They already
people
passed
sick,
the moment.
because then they make more money.
Too fucking
Because you've
late.
already given
I like the
over
idea.
fucking power to these
We
people.
got our American jackets
So-
on.
I am not a medical doctor.
But I play one on TV.
The God
I have
believe in
played one.
can make the lame walk, the deaf hear, the blind see, and can even raise the dead.
Amen.
I am not afraid of a virus or of any illness.
I don't want. Well, I don't want.
I don't want to die.
Or any vaccine, a la verga.
Don't
I
be
think
tempting
you have
fate.
that attitude. You can't
Oh,
be
dude,
controlled.
story of my life.
That's why I went.
Right,
into
you always
the
go.
pandemic.
I said that once in my life. I never been stung by a bee. Then I got stung by a bee like 20 minutes later. I stepped outside my friend's house and I never been stung and I got nailed in the back.
One day, I was sick.
I think I would've
before
died
the whole
already,
virus
yeah,
thing
fuck
came
it.
down, and then got
I made
better.
it.
So I don't know if I got the corona ahead of time, but I will not take their vaccine. And what I really believe, like I said the other day, is I saw a guy come on the Joe Rogan show, and Joe Rogan came to my temple. We only had like 2 weeks we were open, legitimately open. I mean, I stayed open for months after they arrested me,
Now Joel never put me on. the
as
show.
you saw
What?
as I put
No,
some of
kidding.
those videos in the previous
I'm
temple.
telling you, he doesn't
So,
believe in God.
Joe Rogan came to our temple with Eddie Bravo. And a guy named Kevin Booth brought him there. And Kevin, I like Kevin a lot. I think Kevin just wants to make movies and have a good time in Hollywood. And he wants to make movies with some significance and some cultural influence. So he's been making movies about marijuana, about drugs, and he kind of got into the culture. And he happened to have been a friend of Bill Hicks growing up and Alex Jones. So, and Joe Rogan and Alex happened to be friends. So
Infowars, baby.
somehow Kevin and Joe and Eddie all came to my temple, like 1 or 2 days of being in a real temple before they came and arrested me. So this guy who was on the Joe Rogan show, and I like watching Joe Rogan's show, I think he was the head of Gab. And he said, we just need to set up a parallel economy, a parallel culture. And that's what Malcolm X said. Malcolm X says, I don't want integration. I don't need to be a Martin Luther King. He goes, why do I need to be with you asshole white people who don't even like me? He goes, I just need to have the freedom to have my own shit.
to be free enough to have my own banks, my own businesses, and do my own thing. He goes, I don't need segregation. I don't want segregation where we're separated intentionally, but I believe in separation. I feel the same fucking way. And Malcolm X was a hero of mine. So, and it was funny because I heard what an asshole Malcolm X was. He hated Jewish people. He's anti-Semitic. He's this and that. And then I had to read him for one class in college. And I started reading the book. Aldous Huxley? No. He's the guy who wrote Brave New World. Who wrote Roots? It was a black dude. I don't know why I can't think of his name right now. Was it also Huxley? I can't remember. But Roots was a great book, and it was a huge, huge TV success miniseries when I was in the 6th grade. Okay, let's get back. So Joe Rogan had this guy on, and he said, oh, we have to have this separate culture, blah, blah, blah. Malcolm X said the same thing. And so I had never heard that. All I had heard was negative things about Malcolm X. He was assassinated February 21st, 1965, and I wasn't born until November 22nd, 1965. So I never really knew who he was, and he was never made into a hero the way Martin Luther King was. So I'd always heard Martin Luther King positive, Malcolm X negative. And what I had heard from my father was, oh, he's a bad guy, anti-Semitic. So when I was assigned this book to read, the autobiography of Malcolm X, written with the guy who wrote Roots, I read the whole book and I couldn't put it down. I read it in one night. And I eventually changed my name to Craig X. Rubin, because my family had changed their name. Unlike the people who had been enslaved and were forced to change their name, my family was enslaved economically, and Henry Ford would not hire Jewish people, so he published an anti-Semitic newspaper called the Dearborn Independent, and if you bought a Ford, you got to hear how bad the Jews were. So he was like fomenting anti-Jewish feeling here in the United States. It's interesting. I have such mixed feelings about that because I understand why people can say, oh, the Jews are so bad, because there's very few Jewish people in very important positions who do really horrible things. All right. So Joe Rogan comes to my church, and I'm like, oh, awesome. And I become a fan of Joe Rogan's. I start watching his Joe Rogan Experience when he has it on. So he has this guy. Oh, so Malcolm X, when I read the book, he's not anti-Semitic at all. But he's like, I don't need white people. He's like, I just want my own shit. I just want you guys to respect the laws of the country. And I'm like, okay, I have the same feeling. And that's why I was upset about marijuana, because it seemed like it was illegally done. They had ended prohibition of alcohol. They needed a new prohibition of something. And they came up with marijuana. And Henry Ford had showed how it could make a car that ran on hemp fuel, made out of hemp. It was like grown from the ground, the whole car. And it wouldn't make us dependent on the Middle East or on ripping up our environment for the steel and the oil, for the, the whatever. So many good things from hemp. So this Malcolm X says we should live separately. And I was such an admirer and became such a fan of this book. I read everything by him and started watching movies, and I changed my family name back to Rubin for my stage name. So I became Craig X Rubin whenever I did comedy or I do church stuff. I'm like, that's my power name because of Malcolm X. And he's just, like I said, a hero of mine, because he just said, we don't need you. We just want to be treated fairly. And I feel that's how the people who want to be unvaccinated for religious reasons, we don't need this culture. We don't need you. If we have to separate ourselves, we will, for our religious freedom. That's what the people did to come to America. They weren't having their religious freedom in Europe, so they came here. And if we have to go to Montana, I don't want to leave America. I don't want to leave our Constitution. But I'll go to a small state. We'll go to Florida, where the governor and government supports freedom. And that's going to lead to a civil war. So what I want to do with our ministry is get out there, bring America. Like I said, it's hard with interruption after interruption. That's why our phones are such a tragic thing. They're so convenient and so awesome, and yet they stop us from having deep thoughts all the time. So the deep thought is that we might have to, for a short time, not let these fucking nerds and assholes who have sold out to the Chinese central banks who are bringing our countries into war after war to manipulate us economically, and they're buying and bribing our politicians. We can't let them control us. We, the people, have to take over, but without violence, like Gandhi did in India. You can kill the British Empire. Now, America, when we had our revolution, we fought those damn British because they were going to take away our guns and kill us. And our American government and the Chinese and the United Nations may want to take away our guns and come and kill us too. So we can't give in to that, but we can defeat them without a civil war, I believe, if we follow the pattern of Martin Luther King and Mahatma Gandhi. Yes, guys, what's up?
Are we gonna go to the park?
Yeah, we're going to go to the park. Give me 5 minutes. Okay, please stop interrupting me. Thank you. So, forgetting what I was saying again. Peacefully, we can take over by non-cooperation. That's how Gandhi did it. You don't cooperate with the government. You don't cooperate with the corporations. That's what I stopped doing. They kicked me off the plane. I stopped cooperating. I stopped riding on their plane. They kicked me off of somewhere else. I stopped doing it. Look at Owen Benjamin. He was in Hollywood. He doesn't need Hollywood anymore. He's making money. He's got his ranch. He's living off the grid, and he's still performing and part of society. You think you can't quit your job? God will provide. Somehow. I don't know how, but he will provide. And just be willing to work hard. Might be a lot harder work than your job, but you're going to be doing it with your family, and you're going to be doing it with a sense of freedom. Okay, crypto all the way. Buy our NFTs. Check out the second commercial we made today. And sorry I made so much work for you, Mario.
I mention a lot of Hollywood and celebrity people because I know, and which I mentioned the other day, that gets more attention than a lot of this Bible stuff. And so hopefully it'll give some credibility to be like, oh, he knows Joe Rogan and all these guys, whatever. I'm not friends with Joe. I don't know Joe. I'd love to be on Joe's show talking about Temple 420.
Woo, me too, Joe.
Come back for the third temple.
Me and Mario.
But who knows?
Down by the schoolyard.
Where the fuck was I going with this?
See, that happened to me when I was first consulting with weeds. I was like, what was I saying? And then they remind me exactly where I was because they were taking notes, and I knew they were taking notes. But then they added that into my character. They're like, so my character on
Just
weeds.
add.
What was I saying? What was I saying?
Okay, let's just forget where I was going with
I
that.
still can't remember what I was saying.
But I want to focus on, something Joe said. I watch his Joe Rogan Experience a lot, and Joe's a really good interviewer because he lets the people talk. He has a lot of patience, and he draws out some good questions. And what I remember about him coming to the church was he had just given $10,000 to some woman, and Kevin was telling me about it, and I was like, holy cow, that's so nice, that's so much money. And I know he signed a $100 million contract now with his show, and that's the point too. When you're generous, God will bless you with more, because he trusts you to give it away. And sometimes, as I said, those angels work through people.
And so Joe was acting as an angel.
My grandmother, the Christian one, she believed those two people who we discussed the other day were real angels, that God sent her those angels into her life to bless her. And
That was a good one.
it changed her life, it changed her faith, and she was able to hear from God and see those angels. That so much faith and trust that she knew that God had brought those people into her life to bless her. Okay, so there's a lot of ways that we learn about praying and about the Bible. And I know, like, you're like, okay, well, how can I get what I want out of the Bible? How can I hear from God and make my life better? Because a lot of people turn to God or might turn to my video because their life is shit. And wondering, okay, I admit my life is shit. How do I make it better? First thing comes with the truth.
How do you make your life better? That's why
Acknowledging the
she was
truth.
banned.
Your life maybe is crap and you want it to
Oh,
be
dude,
better.
now we got various ideas.
Then
No, I'm
The
just like,
second part is
That's
I'm so disappointed that it's this
is
fucking
doing
America with no
something,
free
and
speech.
the only
Is what
action
it
you
really
can
is.
take is you can't really change your past and you can't change your future, but it's right now.
It's
Is you
bullshit.
get up and you do something.
It's like
right
they're
now.
just everyday
And I listen
Americans
to a
can
lot
never
of
have some
motivational
fucking free
speakers.
speech. And these fucking fascists working for these companies,
Hello inside.
they make me sick. Google and Twitter and fascist book.
Okay.
The fascist book.
Man, one train wreck lose a thought after another. So I watch a lot of motivational speakers, and one of the things they talk about is getting better, slightly better every day.
Incremental
Setting small
improvement.
goals and achieving them, having a sense of accomplishment, and then moving on
Oh yeah,
from
I
there.
got the hiccups or something.
That's what Mario and I did with these videos. We started the first day just making a video. How do we make a video? How do we edit a video? As you notice, the sound, the light wasn't great. But we finally got to 2 cameras. This one's all shot in 1 camera. Mario's not even here. I'm doing this without him to give the guy a break. He was working real hard. So,
See, I care, Mario. Yeah. Sure. White power.
Oh yeah. That's what I was like, dude. What the hell, really?
Did you?
Really, dude? 'Cause that's
you
like
hear that word?
you're gonna sock
Dude.
somebody in the face.
W.
Oh, I know. I saw the video. I saw the
That's so
video.
stupid.
How
Those
would you
guys were
like
just.
to-
So now we can't even say okay now.
Okay.
That's like an okay sign, right? Like they fine, like cool. You know what I'm saying?
body is
And yeah, with white
This
cousins.
one is for homosexuals.
What?
Yeah, because you want to stick your thumb up their butt. So if you do this,
It's
it
like
means
for
that-
hitchhiking, you know? And anyway, I didn't do.
had
I
this
was like,
really powerful
oh shit, where's the
experience.
camera? Yeah.
I felt really powerful afterwards.
Mine looks.
Not physically powerful.
Mine looks good.
but
Mine looks
mentally
like an
I
emoji.
I fasted. I fasted all the time.
I'm like sweat club.
But I never really did.
Do
The
it.
real fast until I'm 55 years old. The real fast is no food or
Dog-
water for
dog ears
24
or-
hours.
Los
For
Angeles.
12 hours, have a chip, a grape.
Oh, this
a
is how I
glass of
always
water,
cheated
some
on
lime juice.
the fast.
I'm still fasting. And this time, I really said to myself, I am going to commit to 24 hours.
This might be.
I'm not going to break it. I'm not going to cheat. I'm not
Teaching
going
people.
to.
Damn, I slid all the way
Why
down.
cheat?
Teaching people how to get
I'm
powerful
just
and
not
get
gonna eat
energy.
or
I know
drink
you were
for
like
24
below the
hours.
camera. You were
Be
sliding.
disciplined. Because
Stoner.
I like listening to Mike Tyson. I've worked for him, and I watch all the little TikTok videos about Mike Tyson. I think he's very experienced in life and has wisdom that few people have achieved.
He is wise.
I'm not saying he's smart or the wisest guy in the
I
world.
meant
He
educated.
has his problems too. But having been super, super wealthy, super famous,
And then in
having
jail.
been locked in prison, having
Lost a
been
child.
both praised and shunned in one lifetime the way this one man has, he's experienced 10 lifetimes worth. His really tough childhood with no love in it whatsoever. And yet he had a mentality of a champion. And one of the things that brought him there was when he met someone who believed in him. And that's what God does. He believes in you. He created you. The Supai word for God is Magyo, the creator of man. And that's what I believe, and that's why I connected so much with the Supai religion and experience
What?
going down there. My
You
friend
said macchiato? You making a coffee?
No, I
yet?
said Machiavellic.
Machiavellian. Niccolo Machiavelli, the prince.
they don't like to talk about their stories at all.
Manikaja, leader of the people,
My experience
leader of the children.
with the Supai
No, don't say children.
brought me closer
We're gonna get this video
to
taken down
God and
too.
the Bible.
We're going to
Going
run.
sweat
Fuck
lodge
you.
and suffering, making a sacrifice. It made me realize how important a sacrifice was. Because when we're in the sweat lodge, we're praying that our sacrifice of suffering in there with the heat will lessen the suffering of others. Almost as if there's only a certain amount. I know it's been so long, sweetheart. I'm going to try and wrap it up right now. Mario's not going to be happy either.
I know I did give you a lot of work
This
to
is
do
why
on this
cell
one.
phones, I try not to answer my phone anymore often. Every time you get distracted, you lose your train of thought. Back to the sweat lodge. So in the sweat lodge, you're making a sacrifice. You're suffering in this heat for 4 rounds. And it's what it is. It's basically a sauna with no light. It's an earthen structure with hot rocks, and you throw water on there, and it creates this incredible steam heat that can burn your skin sometimes, can so difficult to make it through there at times. We sing 4 songs in each round, and you do 4 rounds. And in different tribes, you do different sweats. For example, in Lakota, you don't get out of the sweat lodge.
Did you hear the way I said that?
Lakota.
Like I was native, eh?
Pomona.
The sweat, and we recuperate, and then we go back in.
Watch a lot of Indian movies.
And bring in more hot rocks. Each round.
Listen to some Indian music. Indian music.
And the purpose is.
Made some fried bread in my day, baby.
So by us sacrificing and making a sacrifice.
Did you just say Indian?
Yeah. Smoke
Make
some
less
Wimbache.
suffering for people, and not just our family.
More in the old
people
Redskin
around the
hat.
world.
My
People
Cleveland Indian hat.
praying
Ah,
for
you
all
can't get
of
those
our
anymore,
nations,
huh?
because we
Only on
recognize
eBay.
that we're really all one.
Oh yeah.
And the reality is, in
That's
science,
true. That's
the
what.
human race truly
that's-
is one people. You have 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 great-great-grandparents.
32,
So on and so
64.
forth.
Now, we manifest...
That's
Having
kind of like the
system.
native philosophy, though. Like
Jewish,
all is
Catholic,
one, all life is
American,
one at some
Irish,
level.
Yeah, it really is.
Lebanese,
I wish we could go down to the
Armenian,
canyon and
whatever.
visit them, but this stupid
So-
pandemic, they're like closing the canyon right now.
I'm going to talk
It's
one
still
day about
close.
the Armenians in LA.
They're playing pandemic forever. The Indians are being scared
Text me.
into submission. They're probably getting
Not
all
not just the
vaccinated so they
Indians,
all
but
die,
the rest of the
and
fucking
then they
world.
can steal their
This
land.
time I
That's
fasted.
probably
completely.
what's going to happen.
I didn't have a drink of water.
Nobody's
And they
going to be
didn't
there
have
to
any
protect
food
the falls or the
for
springs
24
anymore.
hours.
They're all going to get clots and
And I
myocarditis
felt
and
a
whatever
certain
else, and they're going to
power-rich drink.
fuck them.
I still
Because
feel
that's what the government does to
not
Indians.
worthy sometimes, even
We're
after
doing it to
fasting.
everybody. We're like, we're all on a giant reservation
Oh, did
now,
I do
baby.
it right? Did I not do it right? Did I? I'm sure there's
And
things
banned.
I didn't. I never do shit right the first
It
time.
sounded like he laughed with us.
But-
He, that's me.
What anorexia.
He on the screen, bruh.
I'm suffering from, partially. It's a lack of control.
Oh, I'm
And
talking about this. Get the
The
strength you
strength
get.
and power that I got from fasting was that I had control over something that no one else could control. The government couldn't control. It was just between God and I. And every time I wanted to cheat, like I had done in the past, God gave me the strength not to miss the mark, not to sin. And I think that's what
That's so true.
being saved is all about, is recognizing that we're not worthy and that a sacrifice is needed. And in the Jewish tradition, it always has to be a blood sacrifice, an animal sacrifice. Put the blood of the innocent lamb with the hyssop on the mercy seat.
So there's like sacrificing in like almost every religion, or
The
like,
Shekinah glory, the presence of God among us. And really,
Oh,
that's what this is all about. Is when you
Having
got
God's
God with
presence.
you, you're living in a Garden of Eden. And when you sin, when you miss the mark, when you listen to the devil, that voice that tells you to go against what God says,
you're
then
naked
you're
and
thrown
hiding
out of
from
that
God.
garden, and you're
Yeah.
separated from His presence. And He sent His Son so that we could be in His presence again. And so He came to earth, and He was here with us. And people had healing, had money. You know, He's, hey, you want to pay your taxes? Look in that fish's mouth. There's a piece of gold. And all you had to do, you didn't even have to touch Jesus. He didn't even have to know you wanted to be healed. All you had to do was have faith in him and touch a small piece of him. Who was that who touched my coat? Oh shit, he knew I touched it. And he said, woman, you're healed because you touched the hem. The hem. Who touched the hem of my garment?
It was her faith that healed her, it wasn't the touching.
And he knew that you had that much faith, that you believed in him that much, in the Messiah, that you'd be healed just from touching this little string. So, yeah, I want that shit in my life. Who doesn't, right? I want that for my kids. I want that for my grandkids. And,
see, you had already spoken about that too.
And when I first believed in Jesus, I really...
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what the hell I said that they banned this one.
I came to a deeper understanding when real trouble came, when I became homeless, when I lost my kids, when, because I had my church, when all these horrible things happened. Oh, Mario, you came back, buddy. I was doing this without you, just to save you some time and energy so you didn't have to be here. Cool, I know you do, but I know you're working hard too. So, anyway, so part of the reason I love America and was so disappointed when I got arrested for teaching the church, because I love America. How can they do this? We have freedom of religion. I have the right to bear arms. You can't just come in my house and abuse me in this way. You can't make me get naked. You can't search me and make me pee in a cup, but they could, and they did.
Search my fucking house.
Nobody stood up for me. No one, not one other Christian church. And it felt like the Germans, like, well, who's going to stand up for me?
And now everybody
stood up for me, and now no one's standing up for you. So here I am. If you have your church, I give you permission to open up again. Go ahead. Do it. Let God help you and be your protector. You don't need anyone's permission. We have that permission. It comes straight from God. That's why we have the Bill of Rights, which was just an acknowledgement of what our rights were from God. So I still love America, love the Constitution, believe because we copied the Native Americans, the Indians, we created a greater union in this country. And I want to recommend fasting to you guys and asking God to help you get through that 24 hours, because once you can go 24 hours without food and drink, you won't die. You'll become stronger, healthier, and physically healthier, mentally healthier, because you're not going to put up with bullshit anymore. We shouldn't put up with bullshit from our government, from our family, from our friends. We need to be strong. These are difficult times, and we need to be strong of heart and strong of mind. So that's what fasting did for me, and I was so grateful that God helped me not to cheat and come to this deeper understanding of what this holiday is all about. It's starting the new year off, not just with a resolution, but with a resolute resolution. With repentance, I'm forgiven for my sins from last year. I'm making a new start this year. I'm not going to miss the mark. And I know God's going to help me because he helped me get through the fast this year.
Yeah,
so
that's the way I felt.
God bless you guys for
listening
and supporting us and buying our
we're finally at the end.
Oh shit. I don't think we're finally at the end. You still keep going for like another 10 more minutes.
Are you
let
serious?
me burn my hemp. And let's
I kept going that way. No, remember I did another one after
the
you
people
came back.
who've sinned against us. Trevor, we forgive you.
I don't.
It's okay, he's not there yet. It's okay. We're going to all get there one day when it works for you. I'm not forgiving him still owing me the money for my shit. I'd still like to get that back because I feel like there's a family member. You know, I guess that's what it is. Family does take all the advantage the most. They think because you still love them afterwards.
Like, yeah.
So
because I really
don't
know
consider
what
him
Joshua
my enemy. I'm not loving my enemy, but I was upset. I'm definitely disappointed in Trevor, but I'm not having any fear or lack of love for Trevor. Trevor, we're praying for you that you don't end up dying early from whatever diseases you think you have. I pray that you get right with Jesus, right with God, right with the Holy Spirit, and stop relying on welfare and hospitals and drugs for your healing. You really want to be healed?
YouTube channel.
Turn to God. And that's the truth, America. You've turned into a fucking drug addict. Every time you go to the doctor, he writes you a prescription. They're nothing but drug dealers for the pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah, definitely.
A little faith, and you too will be
That's
healed.
why we got banned.
Amen?
Right at the end.
Right at the end, we told people they can heal themselves. Big Pharma.
This is bullshit.
Yeah, that was it. Remember, you had just come back, and I kind of wrapped this one up, and then I'm like, oh shit, I got more to say, and then we did one more. All right, well that was it, folks. Was it worthy of being banned? You tell me. What the heck did I say? And I know it's bullshit now because they just banned our second one. And we had 2 of the exact same videos put up from 2 different angles. One is banned and the other isn't. It don't make sense.
No, we don't.
YouTube is just curtailing our free speech to protect Joe Biden and the Chinese. And it's really China, I bet, more than anything, because they want to make money in China and they want to be accepted. So they're probably like, China's probably telling them, ban this person, ban this person. China's probably telling them, help us cheat in the elections. And big tech is probably just going along with it because they want to make money in China. It's all those fuckers care about. They don't give a shit about America. I think it's time to seize those companies and make them public utilities. You know, your phone isn't going to hang up on you. Well, maybe it does these days. Because we're living practically in Soviet Russia. So, but you don't have your phone. They don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat, if you're vaxxed or unvaxxed. You can still make a phone call. But in this future thing, we may not be able to. And I agree with Malcolm X, as I've stated before. Separation is the way to go. We don't have to fight these motherfuckers. They're going to fight us because we want to separate. But we have to fight them if they try to enforce their vaccinations and shit on us. God will heal us. Trust God, not the government. I don't trust Joe Biden, just like I don't trust Dominion to count my votes. Now this shit's really going to get banned on YouTube. All right, put us on Rumble. We're good. God bless. You got to say anything, Mario?
No.
Thank you.
I'm in.
Peace out.